how the fuck do you write so many books so fast? I think, I've had a really good 6 months. I've written 3 chapters, and you've finished 3 books. And
I try to get out there and I try to get 6 pages a day, and I try to get them fairly clean. So if the manuscript is 360 pages long, that's basically 2 months' work.
And you do hit 6 pages a day?
I usually do.
You don't ever have a day where you sit down there and it's like constipation and you write a sentence and you hate the sentence and
Okay.
you check your email and you wonder if you had any talent after all and maybe you should have been a plumber.
Okay, hold up a second. Because what George Martin just said, every creative person's been there. And the question he's asking is exactly what I want to understand. Why is the creative process so effortless for some people and so painfully slow for others? Why do ideas sometimes flow right through you and other times it feels like this? And more importantly, what do you do when the creative flow doesn't come?
I'm open to suggestions.
Sometimes it really does arrive like magic. One morning, Paul McCartney wakes up with a melody in his head.
I sort of went to the piano, found the chords to it,
And he plays it for his bandmates, thinking he probably heard it somewhere. But no one recognized it because it wasn't from anywhere. It was his. He didn't have the lyrics yet, so he just called it...
I called it Scrambled Eggs. Scrambled eggs.
Later, it became...
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so...
This reminded me of this David Lynch clip.
Ideas come to us. We don't really create an idea. We just catch them, like fish. No chef ever takes credit for making the fish. It's just preparing the fish.
What kind of fish?
I know this might sound a little woo-woo, but something about it felt true. He wasn't talking about creating ideas. He was talking about tuning into them. I thought, okay, maybe there's something to this. So I tried it myself. Meditation, silence, long walks. I was trying to become the antenna, the pipe. I believed that if I waited quietly, the flow would come. I waited for the fish. And then... nothing. So, what do you do when the muse doesn't show up? Because when you're stuck long enough, it doesn't feel like a phase anymore. It starts to feel like, almost like a sign.
Maybe you should have been a plumber.
Okay, let's try again. So Paul McCartney did come up with the music in his dream, but what about the scrambled eggs? How did he arrive from scrambled eggs to yesterday? Turns out while the melody did come to him in a dream, the lyrics, that part took him months. He had to show up every day, try new lines, play with the phrasing.
Waffle fry. Oh my darling, how I love your thighs.
So it's not like there are people who are so talented that ideas just effortlessly come to them. Even those that are occasionally struck by inspiration still have to put in the hard work. So now I'm thinking, okay, let's check the man who writes
6 pages a day.
How the fuck
does he do that? So now I'm going through his book on writing and I come across this quote. Amateurs sit and wait for inspiration. The rest of us just get up and go to work. So basically, he treats his creative process not as this artsy, inspiration-driven thing, but as his 9 to 5. I wonder why he does that. Well, he is, of course, not the only one.
I try to be reasonably disciplined and write sort of office hours for most of it, and then not do kind of all-nighters or crazy hours.
I like to write first thing in the morning. I am at my desk at 4 o'clock every day, 365 days a year. That is my process. That's my time. And by working early in the morning, I signal myself that this is the most important thing you're going to do today.
Even David Lynch, who talks about creativity as something you catch rather than force, had his own disciplined routine, sitting in the same diner every day at exactly 2:30 and scribbling ideas on napkins. Okay, sure. Routines help with discipline and staying consistent, but I started to wonder, is there something else going on? Why would so many artists take something as fun and spontaneous as creativity and turn it into a strict 9-to-5 routine? Is there some meta layer, some underlying reason to turning this joyful process into something that almost feels mundane? I decided to go for a walk to let that sink in, clear my head a little. Somehow I found myself in a store looking for something to drink, but
Why are you telling me this?
bear with me. So I found myself in a store looking for something to drink. I knew I wanted something, but I wasn't sure what exactly. So I'm standing there in front of the shelf and I am completely frozen. And suddenly I realized, oh, maybe this is what they're doing. What if creative block isn't about having no ideas? Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's too many. If you have an extended deadline in your head, your brain switches to a perfectionist mode. The infinite possibilities overwhelm your head, and so no idea seems good enough. No idea stands out. You think you're mediocre, you should have been a plumber.
Maybe you should have been a plumber.
Instead, if you've got a system, say 6 pages by 5 o'clock, your brain switches gears. It stops asking what's the best possible idea and starts asking, how do I get these 6 pages done by 5? When those writers treat their work as 9 to 5, they're trying to take the burden of making a choice out of the equation by introducing a limitation and forcing their brain to work within those constraints.
George, we're going to have to wrap this up pretty soon. Is there anything that you've always wanted to ask me?
So I guess it's not about waiting for flow, but creating your own state of flow. And some days it might just be scrambled eggs, but eventually it'll become